Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully, you're having a good week. I know it's yet again another Thursday. I know it's probably still settling in, but I'm on Thursdays now. It's my new day since we got a new podcast going on Tuesdays. Called Be the Number, talking about sports betting or golf, fantasy betting, whatever. They're doing, those kind of things, those topics. If you're into that, check it out. And then our boy Sean Clement for Golf's Perfect Imperfections moved to Wednesday, which is my time. And I'm here on Thursdays, which I think it's fine. I mean, I don't think that's a huge deal. But, if you're looking for me on Wednesdays, wondering where I was, well, it's on Thursdays. So here I am. And before we get going, I just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Titleist Fitting. And nothing will do more to improve your driver performance than getting fit by an authorized Titleist Fitting specialist. With outstanding featured shafts and a new premium partnership with Graphite Design, we have all the tools to get your game dialed. Visit Titleist.com to learn more about TSI drivers and to schedule a fitting today. And of course, go get fit. I know that it's a lot of me, like, the pot calling the kettle. But, definitely, if you're going to go spend some money on a driver, especially like a TSI, 2, 3, something like that, definitely take the time. Go get fit, figure out what works best, and, you'll be a lot happier. So, me, on the other hand, I don't get fit because nothing stays in my bag long enough to I guess getting a fitting would be kind of useless, considering that my gamer bag changes literally every day. I know last week I said I had the new Project X 0311 ST, the Gen 4s, which are like the blades, and I do have them. I've gotten rained out at golf. The range was flooded out. I don't know what it is that just some power up above just does not want me playing golf this week. So hopefully I'm playing today, rain, shine, whatever, I'm playing today. So I don't care if it's pouring rain out today, I'm going to go play. I'm sick of not playing. So I promise I will get those out there. I know I had a couple questions on Instagram. I was doing yesterday, doing my usual Q&A that I've missed for a few weeks. If you don't follow me on Instagram, at Club Junkie Pod, and doing my usual Q&A session in the stories. A lot of good questions coming in there. I feel kind of bad. There's so many questions that are about, guys asking me about Dynamic Gold X7s, C-Taper 130X compared to, X7s or, Project XLS 6.5s. And I'm like, I don't carry enough speed to hit though. I've hit C-Tapers. I haven't hit LS just because I don't get my hands on a lot of Project X stuff. I don't know why that is, but I just don't. I hit some of the Project X wood stuff, but in terms of iron shafts, other than Project X and LLZ, I haven't hit any of the new ones. So I just don't get my hands on them. I don't know if I think they're not coming stock in irons, or Project X just isn't sending them in, which I totally get, but I just haven't hit a lot of them. So, but these big hitters are asking me about like X7s and all that. I've hit the X7s, I've hit the C-Tapers. I don't think I've hit the 130Xs. I've hit the 125S pluses, and those are more than I should be handling. But like I said, the LS65, that's super low launch, super low spin, all that. That's just not my game. So I don't have a lot of experience with those big hitter type shafts. So unfortunately, in irons especially, I just don't hit it high enough to warrant those. But all good. I appreciate everybody's questions and everybody asking stuff, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. Hopefully enjoy answering, hopefully enjoy going through some of those questions and seeing the answers, and at least that I give, and either agreeing or not, but at least hopefully you're entertained. So, like I said, it's been kind of a rough week at golf. Like I said, up here last week was just nothing but rain. It literally, every day, it seemed like it was just raining. And, like I said, by the time my golf league was ready to go, the rain had stopped. It rained all night into the morning. But the course was just flooded, so we didn't get to go out and play. And that weekend, had a little block party, so I didn't play on Saturday. Got invited to play on Sunday, but I didn't. I left my phone as we were getting ready for this block party with my daughter and everything. Didn't realize that my phone was inside. Came inside, got it an hour later. Said, yeah, I could play on Sunday, and they'd already filled that spot. So I went online. My wife was like, hey, you should just you should go play. So I said, all right. I booked a tee time online at 7 a.m. at Old St. Clair Shores. And with everything I was doing that day on Saturday, didn't realize that I never got the confirmation email. And I showed up to the course, and they were like, "Who the hell are you?" And realized that my reservation didn't go through. So that's awesome. Love that happening. But I chipped and putted and all that, and to be honest, I'm probably kind of glad I didn't play, because judging by the time, like I said, I was kind of bummed, and I was like, all right, well, I'm here. There's no one on the practice green. So I had the MG3s out. I got the 60-degree in, and, whatever. So, like, I went out there, and I was just hitting some wedge shots, putting around, and I look out, and there was a group that goes off as, there was a guy on one guy on the putting green, and he was on the phone, seemed like fairly frantic. You could tell probably like a buddy running late. Him and his two friends go over to the first tee, so evidently there's only three, so I was like, man, I should run over there and just see, like, do you need a fourth? And then I noticed that this is like before 7 a.m. This is like 6:40. One guy's a total beginner, and they're actually, like, teaching him how to play on a Sunday morning at 6:45 in the morning. And then another guy is wearing a hooded sweatshirt with cut-off sleeves, basketball shorts, and backwards hat, cigarette hanging on. I mean, it was just like, and listen, I'm not like the guy who thinks that everybody needs to wear the exact same golf outfit everywhere, but I'm like, at least sleeves would have been nice, and maybe regular shorts instead of basketball shorts. But anyway, when I watched them play as I was putting, I'm probably pretty glad I didn't play, because that would have been a long round. By the time I left, I texted my wife. I was like, "Oh, hey, I'll pick you up breakfast," because I got nothing else to do. And on my drive out, those guys were in a bunker on the second hole. St. Clair Shores was just super short par 4. They were in the bunker. They were basically, one guy was in the bunker with the guy who was the beginner, showing him, I guess, how to hit out of the bunker. And when I drove up to 3, the guys were basically walking off the green on 3 as I drove by. So 2 holes in, and those guys were already a hole behind. And that was probably going to make for a pretty long round. So I'm kind of glad I didn't play. And I know I sound like a really old man, kind of, judging a book by its cover in terms of outfits and the way people carried themselves. But I don't know. I mean, I look at a golf course, and I don't think you need to wear, exactly what everybody else is wearing. You don't need to wear khaki pants and a navy blue polo. Like, not everybody has to wear that, but like I said, at least some sleeves and not basketball shorts would be kind of nice. I mean, I know it's a public track, but whatever. Maybe that's just me. But anyway, so I've got some golfing before that, but last week was just rough. And then this weekend, I'm going to head down to the old, the old Coldwater Cottage, and they've got their club championship going on. So I couldn't even set a tee time for Saturday or Sunday morning. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll try to go play somewhere else or whatever. But yeah, they have the club championship, which is not a private course. It's public, but if you want to play in the club championship, you pretty much can. I think like it's pretty much open to anybody who's, I don't know if it's anybody who's maybe paid like to be a member or what, but either way, they've got that going on, which stinks because like if they would let me off at 7, I could blow by everybody and probably get done because I don't think it's like shotgun start or anything. So I'm pretty sure I could zip through and it would be fine, but, whatever. I'm not allowed to go play. So, I don't know. I have to figure out something out because I've got a couple clubs that I definitely want to hit. And, like I said, I won't be able to hit them this weekend unless I go play somewhere else or something. So, I'll figure it out. But yeah, anyway, I've got a couple clubs that I've hit. One of them, brand new. I've actually hit it for a while. I took it to my guys' weekend up at the Loom in northern Michigan. But one of the clubs I took out is the brand new Callaway, the Epic Super Hybrid, which is brand new out. And you may have seen a little launch article on our golfwrx.com homepage. But basically, it is a hybrid with driver technology, or as they say, or inspired by a driver. And if you thought the Super Hybrid, the Maverick, or what was it? That was the Maverick Super Hybrid, was really big. That's tiny compared to this. So this thing here, like I said, it's supposed to have driver DNA in it. It's basically an all titanium head. It has the carbon fiber top, but a titanium face, titanium sole, and this boy is big. It is basically a little mini fairway with a super deep face. And they sent us in actually for our media sample the number 2, which is a 16-degree hybrid. So this thing is crazy long, or crazy low loft. It's only 41.5 inches, so it's basically like if you're cutting an inch and a half off a 3-wood, that would pretty much be what this is. And yeah, it's kind of a crazy club. I think guys who don't hit fairway woods well, but maybe hit hybrids all right, this thing will probably be something that they look at. It's definitely not cheap. I think the retail on it's going to be $399, which is pretty wild for a hybrid or fairway wood, really. But like I said, it is all titanium. It's got a super deep face on it, and it goes pretty far. So the stock shafted end is kind of strange. It's a steel fiber FC 75, and I want to say this is the flight control version, which I think is more of a flighted one. So like the longer irons like this may go a little higher. I think it's a flighted set. Basically, it's based on. But in the stiff flex like this, I think it comes in like just a hair under 80 grams. It's got an adjustable hosel, which is pretty nice. I like adjustable hosels in the hybrids just because it is, to me, I like the feel of being able to dial in the loft and fit that gap as well as as easily as possible. But it does have that, so it's got the interchange, the little adjustable hosel, which is the super short stubby one from, I think, what was it, Epic Flash had that had a hybrid with that was adjustable. It had that same little adapter, and so I think so did the fairway woods. But the really stubby little guy. But the nice thing is it's all metal. It doesn't have the ferrule anymore, which is pretty nice. So when if you pull it to put another shaft in there, you don't have to worry about melting the ferrule and then finding another ferrule to fit correctly. It basically is all metal, which is pretty nice. But yeah, it's an interesting looking hybrid. It sits pretty open, at least the 16 degree does. In its basically natural setting, it actually looks like a couple degrees open when I set this one down. I was kind of shocked at that, because to me, I thought this was going to be like the super game improvement hybrid, and I think in some ways it is, but I think really it's really meant for people to kind of hit off the tee too, especially the 16 degree. I mean, this thing is low loft. The problem with hybrids, and people always, I remember working at the shop back in like early 2000s, and people would always come in and say, I want a hybrid that replaces my 3-wood, and the problem is when you start getting down to these crazy low lofts, the shorter shafts, the smaller heads, all that, it was just really hard to get them in the air. You could do it if you carried it, if you had a lot of club head speed, you could get it up in the air and be all right. But for the most part, a lot of the guy, a lot of typical golfers, you just couldn't get enough speed to get the things in the air. So they wouldn't go near as far. They would fly really flat. It'd be impossible to hold a green. But nowadays, you got some different technology. This one here has a ton of tungsten in it. It's got 2 huge tungsten weights, kind of in the back section of it, and I want to say, I can't remember how many grams, but it's a whole lot. But it's got 2 tungsten weightings. It's got the jailbreak AI in the face. So I mean, everything that's in the fairway woods, everything that's kind of in the drivers is in this guy right here. Like I said, it's pretty large, face is pretty deep, but the thing goes like crazy. The ball speeds are super high. I was hitting it on my Mevo Plus today, and had ball speeds all in the mid to high 140s. I think swinging it, I think the club head speed around, it kept measuring it around like 96, 97. And all the ball speed was like super high. I mean, smash factors that were like, high 4s, like 146, 148. So the thing is super hot. It goes, when you hit it in the center, it goes pretty good. I mean, I had some shots that, in terms of, distance, this thing was just behind my 3-wood, which is an inch longer and a degree stronger, and it was, maybe 10 yards behind it, if that. It's crazy long, and that was just off a mat. I mean, just hitting it off a mat, same balls, everything. I was hitting it against my TSI, or the TSI 2, and this thing, just ball speed wise, it was an absolute monster. In terms of consistency for me, I probably hit my TSI 3 a little more consistent. If you look at probably the average distances on it, the TSI 3 was probably overall longer, but I mean, like I said, center shots in this thing were really long. I think it is. It's pretty close to a 3-wood replacement. To me, it still flies a little low. I took it, like I said, I brought it up on North, and I played at least 1 round with it, if not 2. And then I played with it a 9 holes before that as well. So it's been in the office for a short time. So I've been able to get it out there. But I have noticed that it does fly pretty flat. Like, I thought for sure this thing was just going to launch super high in the air and just go miles, and it goes miles, but it's a much flatter ball flight than I expected. Even with a 16 degree, I thought they would still launch really high and get up in the air. It doesn't. It's pretty flat. I was kind of shocked at how flat I hit this thing. Off a tee, it's definitely a lot easier, but off the turf, it isn't super, super easy for me to get up in the air. Now, granted, I don't hit super high balls. That high trajectory shots are just not something that I have to worry about a ton. But this thing doesn't offer, like I said, at least in the 16 degree. Now maybe they make a 16, an 18, a 21, and I think a 24 right now. Let me pull up the specs. I think that's what they're making right now. But right now, like I said, this thing is come on, where are the specs? There you go, specs. So yeah, they make a 16, 18, 21, 24. They do make a 27. So I think when you get back into the 21, 24, 27s, I think this thing actually comes into, it'll probably be much easier to hit, much easier to get up in the air. But the 16 is pretty flat, and it's pretty damn long. It definitely goes. So off the tee, I mean, this thing is basically right there with your 3-wood. Some guys might find it maybe even goes a little longer because with the shorter shaft, they may be finding the center, more frequently than they would their 3-wood. And like I said, with that kind of penetrating low spin shots that come off there, they may find this thing is longer than their 3-wood, especially off the tee. But off the turf, it flies flat. Like, it's not crazy long. Crazy. It doesn't fly crazy high, at least for me. I mean, when you hit it absolute flush, you get up in the air and it's fine, but it's not like hitting, for me, like a typical hybrid, like my 3 hybrid, which again is 20 degrees. But my Cobra King Tech one, I mean, that thing gets up in the air really easily. It kind of flies really high. Again, I'd like to try the 21 degree version of this thing just to see how high it goes. But the 16, if you're somebody who really fights, the high ball flight and hybrids, this thing definitely will, at least the 16 degree will definitely help you bring it down. But this thing's going to be kind of that fine line between, do you buy a 3-wood, do you buy this? And I think it'll all come down to a lot of dispersion. And speaking of that, dispersion-wise, I mean, it goes pretty straight. It really does. I mean, it's got a really large head, and there's like I said, a bunch of tungsten kind of in the 2 back corners. I know there's not corners on a round head, but toe and heel, there's 2 big old chunks of tungsten in there, and it's actually pretty stable. I mean, you hit it off the toe, you hit off a little bit off the heel. Again, the ball doesn't jump in the air super high, but it does stay on line pretty well. And if it's dry, you'll actually get some decent run, and you'll be in play. I mean, if a missed shot with this thing, even the 16 degree is going to be in play. It's going to stay pretty much in the fairway or close to it. When I played with it over the 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whatever it was, up in the Loon, it was pretty soft. I had it in the bag on Sunday when it rained, and I remember I hit it on I hit it off the tee on 1 or 2 holes, and it was just like, it went nowhere. I mean, like, the ground was so soft, it just kind of hit and stopped. And there, it's going to be tough. But if you're playing a firm, like I said, I think something like this. Originally, I would say in Bandon, but because it's so windy, you could easily flight it down. But you usually hit driver all the time anyway. But something like this would be definitely useful in somewhere where you need to flight the ball down, you need to hit it low, but you still want to hit it really far. This 16 degree is pretty wild. And like I said, I mean, it's a shorter shaft, so it's 41.5 inches, where a standard 3-wood is typically, I think, around 43. I usually play mine about 42.5. So this thing's a full inch shorter than my 3-wood, and it's, like I said, at the most, maybe 10 yards shorter when you hit it well. So I think for a lot of players, if they can't hit a 3-wood well, and it's just too long and too hard to control, this epic super hybrid could be a great option to go in the bag, either like alongside a 3-wood, if you're going to play kind of as a 5-wood or something like that, or, do you just replace your 3-wood altogether and play this, maybe turn it down a degree, play it kind of like a 4-wood, and it's, like I said, it's super long. So the ball speeds on it are crazy. You can really, with that titanium face, you can really feel the ball compress and jump off the face. It just goes. And like I said, off the tee, that deep face is great. I mean, you just feel like you could hit it anywhere. And like I said, there's not a ton of left in it. I was kind of shocked. I thought for sure this thing was going to be super, super forgiving, have a ton of draw to it, and also with the adjustable hosel that moves a lot of weight towards the heel as well. But really, I mean, there was a touch of draw to it, but it wasn't crazy left. I mean, I don't think it was too much more left than the Cobra I'm playing right now, and I threw the heavyweights out in the toe. So Fairly neutral ball flight. Like I said, if you're just anti-left, nothing can go left, okay, well, this may not be 100% what you're looking for. But I think if you're looking for a pretty neutral ball flight in a hybrid, and something that you're going to rip off the tee all the time, I think this thing is probably pretty darn good. I really want to try it with a different shaft in it too. Not that I don't like steel fiber. I mean, I've hit a lot of their stuff really well, but I think hitting something that is maybe just a touch lighter. I mean, like I said, it's 80 grams. Maybe putting something that's like 70 grams in there, just like a wood, and seeing if that makes a play even longer. You know, does that get it to 3-wood distance? Turn it down to 15. It could definitely be a real monster off the tee, but still be a total fairway finder. So it'll be really interesting to see how these play out in people's bags, especially the 16 and 18 degree lofts, because those, like I said, they're not as easy to elevate as I thought they were going to be. I think if you're a player who doesn't generate a ton of club head speed, and you don't hit a super high ball as it is, the 16 may not be for you. It may be worth trying, but it may not be for you. You may still find more success with a fairway wood, just because, to me, I think those launch a little higher than this. At least for me, it did. At least my TSI 2 or TSI 1 or TSI 2, TSI 3 3-wood launches a little bit higher than this. And but I said, like I said, I mean, in terms of consistency, I probably hit the TSI 3 a little more consistent than this in terms of distance. But this thing here is pretty darn good, and it's pretty confident when you stand over such a short shaft. It's a hybrid, and you stand over it. It gives you a lot of confidence to kind of hit the fairway. And I hit a lot of fairways with this thing off the tee. So lengthwise, like I said, definitely way longer than my 20 degree that I keep in the bag. The 16 goes a long way. So it's really interesting. I mean, like I said, interesting play at the price point it's at. Will it replace your 3-wood or whatever? I think that's something you're going to have to mess around with and just kind of see. Does it replace anything in your bag? And the other part is, do you hit it better than, say, the fairway would it replace? Say this thing here, it's kind of a 4-wood. You could turn it down to 15. Do you hit it better than 3-wood? If you do, then hey, I think this thing is a valid spot. I think it's pretty versatile. But if you don't, I mean, it'll be definitely an interesting play. But I think the 21, the 24, the 27 are going to sell really well. The 16 and 18, I just don't know. The 16 especially, I think it's just such a small market that's going to want something that low lofted and can hit something that low lofted. But the sound and feel are really good. It's titanium, so it's got that kind of metallic ting to it when you hit it. But like I said, you could definitely feel the ball compress off the face. The responsiveness is really good. When you miss it off the toe, miss it off the heel, immediately just from the sound, but also the feel of that thing leaving the face with a little harsher, with a little more vibration. But when you smoke it in the center, it's almost like hitting a forged iron. The thing you feel the face kind of take some of that impact and it fires off, and the ball really does go. So, the knock for it I'll give is like I said, I think on the turf it takes a little more skill at the 16 degree level. I think it takes a little more skill to get that thing off the ground and get it onto a green, even, say a par 5, something like that. I think it's going to be harder to get that to stop and control the distance on it. Where, I mean, if you're a super high ball hitter, you may have no problem. You'd be able to hit that thing and get it up, get it to stop, have no problem on the green. For me, I just couldn't quite hit it high enough. But again, my hybrid is for the most part, it's used off the tee. I mean, I don't, maybe some par 5s or whatever, I may hit my hybrid off the turf, but for the most part, it is a tee club for a tight par 4 dog leg, something like that, where you need to hit a certain distance. I hit that and I'm good. So, but the Epic Super Hybrid is pretty. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, the ball speeds are crazy fast. If you're looking for something, like I said, to hit off the tee that you can maybe find a little more consistency with, hit the fairway a little easier, especially on something tight. This thing may be, an interesting option compared to a 5-wood or something like a 4-wood or something like that. So check it out there. I know we have some pictures on the front of golfdrex.com. We also have, if you go to Callaway's site, CallawayGolf.com, they've got a bunch of stuff up there with a bunch of the specs and all that. But yeah, the Epic Super Hybrid is pretty interesting. So I may throw another shaft in it and tried something else. I was pulled out a couple old 3-wood shafts I have, and I may take one and cut it down a little bit more and pop it in there just to see how it plays. But like I said, it's a pretty much a monster off the tee of the ground with ball speed that's going to hang hang with pretty much any fairway wood out there. So beware they're here. This thing is definitely long, and it definitely goes a long way. So I got another club to talk about, but before I do, this episode also brought to you by Club Champion. Calling all levels of golfer, get a tour level club fitting, no matter your skill level, at Club Champion. With more than 85 stores nationwide, it's never been easier to lower your scores through perfectly fitted custom equipment. Book now at clubchampiongolf.com. You guys all know a couple years ago, I went and got fitted Club Champion. For my irons, I got fitted to a Srixon Z 565 combo set. Played great with them. Really loved them. I played them most of that year. I didn't switch them out too much like I do now. So, but yeah, really good. A great place to go get fit. They've got pretty much every brand in there, a bunch of different shafts, all that. I just find it fun because, those guys would let me hit some combos that, had nothing to do with the fitting, but hey, this is a new shaft or new head or whatever. Let's just hit some stuff. And to me, that was super fun as well. So, like I said, clubchampiongolf.com, check it out. They've got some, book a fitting. There's locations all over the place. So hopefully there's one near you. Now, the other club that I've actually, when we talk about Bandon Dunes, the funny thing is this thing has the name Bandon in it. So, the Velcro covers, I kind of despise Velcro covers, but it is what it is. But basically what it is the TaylorMade TP Hydro Blast Bandon, and this is the Bandon 3 putter. So the Hydro Blast line is basically a line of putters that stainless steel putters, and I guess the finish is done with kind of like a water jet type thing where they blast water at these things to really soften out the stainless steel and give it this kind of, kind of rich gloss, satin finish. It is interesting. Like it's hard to explain exactly the look compared to, say, a regular stainless steel putter, but it definitely does look a little different. It's got a little more that silverish color to it. But it actually looks pretty good. I mean, for being what is, a cast putter and, and then finished off this way. I mean, it gives it almost that feel or look that it's a milled putter. So I got this one here when I was out at Bandon, and Bill Price, who's one of their guys over there at TaylorMade, who does a lot of wedge work, a lot of putters. He's big into the creation and all that of those. Saw me putting with a different putter that I brought, and I put terrible with it. And he was like, "You got to get rid of that piece of junk." So the next day we were at Pacific Dunes and the Punch Bowl over there, which is this massive putting green. And he had cut a couple staff bags full of new putters, and this was one of them. And he was, we were trying a couple different ones, and this one is the one that I putted with pretty darn well at the Punch Bowl. So he was like, "Take it out, try it, see what you like." And took it out and played, what was it? Was it Saturday morning or was it the second day? So I think we played Sheep Ranch and Pacific Dunes, and I played with this thing, and I putted pretty well with it. So it was a little long there because it was a 34-inch, and I typically putt with 33-inch putters. So a little longer, so I brought it home, and I cut it down to 33. And what I actually did was I actually tipped it an inch to reinstall it because I didn't want to lose the grip. Because I kind of like these lambkin, like sink fit skinny grips that they have. And this one I really like the feel. I've got one on a Toulon putter as well, and I really like the feel of it and the size and everything. So I didn't want to lose it. And putter grips are brutal to get a hold of right now. So I was like, you know what? Let's. So I kind of took it and figured out like, okay, it should fit, and cut it off at the tip, sanded it down, and then it reinstalled it. So is it actually any stiffer than it was? Maybe a fraction, but it really didn't do a whole lot. And I actually got the grip lined up absolutely perfect, which was awesome. So, but the TP, like I said, these TP Hydro Blasts, the Bandon 3 is kind of the, fang putter, and it's got a little flow neck, a little slant neck to it, kind of like, the Justin Thomas Cameron that he's got. And it's got a little bit of toe hang there. I think they say it's like what did they say? I think they had a thing on there that said how many degrees it was. It was something like 35 or something like that, 32. Which it's a decent amount. It's a little less than a lot of like the, say, Newport style blades, anything like that. But just a little bit of toe hang there. So if you have a little rotation or arc in your swing, this thing will actually line up and match up pretty well. And I've always been a big fan of this style. I started off with Odyssey number 7s. I played just about, I used to say I played just about every one that they've, every style they've made. Nowadays they've come up with a few that I haven't tried yet, but this is kind of that same alignment. The two little fangs has a single sight line running down the flange, naked top line, so it really fit my eye pretty well. Like I said, when I had it there at Punch Bowl, I was putting with it and putted really well with it there. The insert on this one is basically the same one they used in the previous Spider X, which is it's Surlyn, and it's basically the TPU Surlyn insert with with the pure roll grooves. And these are ones that are the downward 45-degree grooves, so you get that roll. And to be honest, I've typically never really been a big fan of TaylorMade inserts. This one's actually pretty good. It's not as plasticky feeling as some of the older ones that I've hit before. This one's got a little more softness to it. For some players, it may be too soft, but I come from those Odyssey white hot days, and this thing is fairly soft like that. Roll on it is really good. I mean, when you hit it when you hit it dead center, it's super soft. The ball just forward roll immediately. There's like zero hop, zero skip. And when I was putting with it the first day, I mean, we walked out. There was dew all over the putting green. There was nobody out there, and every putt there, I mean, it was just immediate. Ball just starts rolling. So the roll on it's really good, but it's not super fast. I know I've hit some other groove putters. Like the Cobra ones with that sick face, which I feel the ball just jumps off the face and goes and takes a little time to get the distance control down. This one here didn't really, I didn't feel like I had that same issue. I mean, the ball definitely does roll immediately really quick. And it may go a hair longer than, say, like one of my Toulons or non-groove putters, but nothing crazy like I felt like that Cobra, which was super hot. The kind of the two fang style with the two lines, with the two fangs and just a single sight line. I framed that up really well. To me, that frames the ball up really well. It's easy to get squared or, get lined up at the hole. And, that fit my eye really well right out of the gate. There was nothing there that I would really change on that. I mean, it's exactly kind of what I would want. But it's just an overall, like I said, a good looking putter. You set it down. The shape of it's really good. It's not too, either stubby with too short of fangs. It's not too wide. It's not too tiny. I mean, it's like everything about it. The proportions are pretty good. The top line's fairly thick. I mean, when you look at it, but it doesn't have anything on it. There's no dot. There's no sight line, anything. So it's a pretty clean look. And the paint fill there is pretty much one black line. There's a little bit of blue paint fill on the bottom for the TP and Bandon 3 stuff, but it's just kind of blue and white. Super simple. And it looks good. Like I said, the roll on it's really good. I mean, anywhere from short putts up to those, 50-foot lag putts, anything like that. Distance-wise, I think the speed is easy to judge. Like I said, this insert to me doesn't feel like you get a ball that jumps off the face super hot. The misses off the toe are actually really good as well. It seems like when I miss it off the toe a lot. And for the most part, the ball stays on line really well. Just maybe go slight right at target, but I think with having these fangs, it adds a little MOI, adds a little stability. When you do catch it off the toe a little bit, it still goes fairly straight. I was pretty impressed, and the grooves in there, keep the ball rolling really well also. So overall, if you do miss it a little bit on the heel of the toe, one, you're going to feel it, which is kind of nice, because like I said before, I never thought the TaylorMade inserts were that great. They were kind of plasticky and just kind of clicky. This one here, I mean, when you hit it center, it's super soft. Ball jumps off, just rolls. If you miss it a little off the toe, a little off the heel, you definitely get a little bit of click, and the ball still rolls really well. I mean, it still rolls off there really well, but you get a little more responsiveness than I feel that you've had in some previous TaylorMade putters, which is really nice. So I really like it so far. I don't know if I want to say that it's 100% in the bag. So before I cut this shaft down, I had a stability tour shaft that I slapped in, but it was really down at like 32 inches, and it was just a little too short. And it was great for short putts, but anything long, I was just struggling with. I couldn't get the feel down, and I was hitting a lot of things off the toe. So I've got it now down to 33. My initial test with it's been really good. It's definitely been better. So we'll see how this goes going forward. But The 33 I think is definitely more my speed. I would like to get slightly heavier weights for the bottom. It's got twin 10 grams in there. I would like to get slightly heavier ones just because, when you cut it short, the heads always feel a little bit lighter. But I would definitely like to get a little bit heavier weights in there instead of just slapping a bunch of lead tape on there, which I've done to some other putters. But the one knock I will give this thing is that, so the whole fang shape is one of those where you're like, oh, I can just scoop the ball up. No. The fangs are too wide. The ball actually goes right in between them, so you can't actually use the fangs to pick up the ball. And the little flange here that has the sight line on it is like, it needs to be like 2 millimeters longer. Because when you go to pick up a ball, it doesn't stay really on it. The ball that falls off, you have to like scoop it really quick. And it's not near as easy to pick up a ball off the green with it as I thought it would be. It's just one of those things where I noticed it like the first day when I went to go pick up a ball, and I was like, wait a minute. And one of the guys at TaylorMade was like, yeah, isn't that funny? Like that thing, you can't pick up a ball with it. And I was like, man, what the heck? And like I said, you can do it, but it's just not, it's not as user-friendly as it looks like it should be. But so far, like I said, I've really liked it. And the funny thing is, I kept saying I was not really like a slant neck guy. Like I've never been that guy. If I'm going to get a mallet, make it face balanced. Recently, I've hit a few of these kind of slant neck mallets, and I've putted really well with them. So a little bit of toe hang in my life isn't necessarily a bad thing that I've found. So I must have a little more arc in my stroke than I originally thought, instead of being straight back, straight through. So this thing here has been really solid. Like I said, I've been a big fan of how this putter has been going. I definitely have enjoyed putting with it. I'm pretty excited to do a little more putting with it at 33 inches because, like I said, it was. Like I said, 32, it was fine for shorts putts, but anything that I had to kind of like actually hit it to get it to the hole, it was just a struggle. I don't know if it was just the really light head weight from it being short, or what, or just like the way my arms kind of were hanging or whatnot, but it was just really tough to get things to the hole. So I'm excited to get a little bit more work in on this thing at 33 inches. Like I said, I played 9 holes with it. So far, I've liked it, but it'll be nice to get a few more holes in just to kind of verify that I do like that length and stuff before, claiming that it's either in the bag or not or whatever. So the whole HydroBlast line, really good. They make, what is it? I think it's something like 6 or 8 style. I mean, they make a bunch. They make the same putter head. They made the Bandon 1, which has the little L neck or plumber's neck hosel. They make basically a Del Monte 1 and a Del Monte 7, which is kind of a wider flange, like Newport 2 style. And then, they make like kind of a Newport 1, the Soto head, which is super popular, the DuPage, the Chaska. They make a handful of heads here, so a lot of options. These things are like $199, so not wildly expensive. I know people, everything golf-wise is kind of getting it crazy expensive, whatever, but, $199 I think is not too bad for these putters, and like I said, they seem to be pretty nice. You get a nice little TP head cover as well. I wish it was not, like I said, I wish it wasn't I wish it was magnetic. That would be super nice because I hate Velcro recently, but kind of a cool dancing TP logo all over there. So which is kind of cool. But that Bandon 3, I'm a big fan. I've so far really liked it. Like I said, that insert is definitely one of the better ones I've hit in the TaylorMade line, and like I said, that Surlyn is nice and soft. Just a really good putter. If you like that fangs type design, I think it's worth checking out. Like I said, it's got a good proportion to it. The fangs for some guys might be a hair thin, and I wish the gap was just maybe a slight bit closed so it would pick up a ball. But other than that, that's the only complaints I have on it. So overall, like I said, well, and even so, I guess the last thing on it, super fast greens like Bandon, and a little slower green like St. Clair Shores, which they've kind of let those things be a little fuzzy lately. They're definitely much slower than they used to be previous summers. It still performs really well on both. I mean, I think, like I said, distance control on both of those. I mean, the super fast greens, this thing gets the ball rolling immediately. There's no skipping, hopping. The ball just rolls true. And those shorter strokes, I think it's super easy to putt with. The shorter shaft and all that on those longer greens, I think, was causing more of a problem. But with those grooves and all that, I mean, even on the little bit fuzzier green, a little slower, when you have to hit it a little harder, I don't think you have to worry about those hops and skips near as much there, and it eliminates them on both greens. So, either one so far, I've really liked it, and it'll be out there again today as well because, like I said, it needs a few more runs at 33 inches to see if it stays or if the betting already stays or whatever. So we'll see what stays in the bag here shortly with this putter. So that's all I've got right now for these two. I've got some stuff as well. Like I said, I'm playing with some stuff this week or today. My league. I don't care if it's raining or not. I'm gonna go play, and then I'm gonna try to find a way to play over the weekend as well. I don't know where yet. I don't know how, but I'll probably hopefully figure something out. So that's all I've got today. I was outside hitting balls in my net. Like I said, I hit those. Somebody asked me about hitting the STs from PXG, hitting into the net right now, super soft. So I'm excited to get those on the course. Really excited to see how soft those things are, in real life play. But excited to hit those. I got a couple other things here that I've got some shafts I got to install. I've got just a couple things here. I've got some of the new Cleveland stuff I'm going to take out and hit as well. Try that. I know they got the new driver, the new XL, and that I was supposed to hit, and I've got to get those out there also. So a lot of stuff to hit, and hopefully some more stuff on the way as well as I've talked to people. So pretty exciting time. But again, if you want to follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod, ask me some questions on Wednesdays. If not, just look for a post that I have. Hopefully it's entertaining, and hopefully you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.